Hey everyone, welcome back to my garden, and I just wanted to show you something that I'm extremely excited about. I just got in the mail earlier today my indoor grow tent, and it's so dark because this thing does an excellent job keeping the lights contained. You may recall earlier this bright, beautiful purple light that was basically blinding me until I bought these sunglasses. Made all the difference in the world, protecting my eyes as well as I'm able to see and take care of my plants and be right underneath the lights and do what I need to do. And my plants are doing very well. And it's been a few days since I updated you on the system, and I just wanted to show you my new grow tent and what it looks like. And this thing has quite a few air pockets. Basically, this thing is, you could put an exhaust, or you could stick a fan through there, or put a little air duct to suck the heat out, but there's not much heat generating from this LED grow light, which is excellent, so contains the light really well. And this mylar reflective sheeting is doing a really good job, I think, at redirecting the light back onto the plants, as opposed to when the light was just dropping down to the ground and dispersing all over the place. You were losing a lot of the light. But like this is bouncing back onto the plants, and I think the plants are doing well and loving the extra lights that they're getting. And look at these little peppers, they're doing quite well. They're even begun to put on some tiny little flowers are starting to form. I believe these were, these are the mini bell peppers. And I had a ton of these plants earlier. I shared a bunch with friends and family, and just anybody who really knows that I'm gardening, who mentioned that they wanted it. I don't mind sharing. And the squash plant is doing very well. That's the squash that I pollinated a few days ago, and it's getting nice and yellow and starting to actually get a little bit bigger. And this thing put on a lot of new leaf growth, and it's beginning to take up the entire area of its container. This is a 5-gallon container basically. And what size is this? This is an 18 by 12 by 12 container, so quite large. It has a lot of space for the roots to grow. And I'm going to be covering this up. I'm actually going to be painting it black like I do my jars usually. I'm just waiting for the paint to arrive in the mail, and I'll take care of that in about a day or two. And this thing is starting to put on a lot of new flowers and leaves. And if you look in the center right there, this is another female flower that's starting to grow. And I noticed as soon as I put these plants underneath the LED grow lights, these are basically all of my flowering plants, this thing not only started to grow much faster, but the flowers would blossom a lot quicker. I noticed that when it was the male flowers, when they and as well as the female flowers were blooming, it would take several days for things to open up. But like this, I noticed as soon as, for example, that female flower right there will probably be open in less than in less than 2 days. Probably about a day and a half, that thing will open up. And hopefully I get some male flowers in the process coming up, because I want to be able to pollinate as many female flowers as I can, maximize how many squashes I grow, and hopefully this container is going to be able to support all these beautiful flowers and vegetables that are growing. So what I may do, if it gets a little too jam-packed, is I'll probably tie this thing up, maybe put a little trellis or something to lift it up and maximize my space here. And wow, it's actually pretty warm sitting underneath this LED grow light. Surprising, when you put your hand underneath, you do feel the heat, and all this reflective mylar is making it quite warm sitting under these lights. And if we take a look real quick to see what the temperature is, you see it's 79. And it looks like the high was 81. This thing has been on for a few hours now, so this thing should be fairly accurate. And the humidity is actually 51%, which is excellent, I think, for the moment. That probably has to do with me spraying. if we come over to the cucumber plant, some of you may remember it used to be along in the home with the squash plant, but I was doing more research about cucumbers and they like their own homes. They don't want their root system to share with anything else really. Unless it's another cucumber, then that's perfectly fine. And if you grow them together, that's perfectly good, but I think I want to separate it, try to really control how each plant is growing. And another reason why I took it out was because you see these leaves right here are beginning to curl up a tiny bit inwards for some reason. And the ends of the leaves are getting a tiny bit yellow, and some of the bottom leaves are starting to put on these yellow basically patches or blotches all over. And it's beginning from the from the bottom leaves, and it's going upwards slowly. So what I think is this is a magnesium deficiency. And a quick simple solution to this would be to just, what I did is I took 1 gallon of water and I added just a tablespoon of Epsom salt. And I gave that a really good mix and put that in a spray bottle and sprayed the top leaves as well as the on top and down below on the inside. And you see this was sprayed about an hour ago and the leaves are still nice and wet. So I'm gonna probably give this thing a spray every couple of days, maybe every 3 days, and see how it goes. Hopefully that should solve the magnesium deficiency and this plant will bounce back and the yellowness will go away, hopefully. And I noticed there's a lot of new side growth happening between each node here. Sorry, got caught up in the wire a little bit. And if we look right here, you see they're starting to put on some flowers. I believe should be an early sign of flowers right there. And if I lift up right here the leaf, you see side shoots actually. So what I may do is when it gets a little bit bigger, I'm gonna clip that and try to get roots to propagate off of that and turn 1 cucumber plant into 2 and maybe even to 3 or 4. And this thing is finally put on its first tendril, if I could find it. There we are. And it took quite a while for it to put that on. And what I may do is probably clip it, the first few that come up, until I get my trellis here, and then I'm gonna make it go throughout the entire trellis upwards. I was initially thinking about tying it up and making it grow up, but I think I could grow more cucumbers if I use this entire wall here. Let me actually move back a tiny bit, you can see. So I'll put a trellis right behind the cucumber section here, going up almost all the way underneath the light, and this entire area will be cucumbers. So it'll be a wall of cucumbers hopefully. And being that this is a self-pollinating cucumber and it's gonna put out all female flowers, I should have a ton of cucumbers I think from this plant. And some of you see basically these little cups. This is just a little 3-inch plastic lid that I had that fits perfectly over these net cups here to cover the holes up and prevent any lights to penetrating down below from up top, I mean, penetrating down and preventing the algae from growing. So we'll just keep that covered up. And the reason why this container has a few extra holes was because I used to grow lettuce in this one and I didn't have any extra lids at the moment, so I figured let me just reuse that and close the holes up. And what I'm going to do is once I propagate the cucumber and transplant